how what was your process like as a guitarist? Because you never had any formal lessons, but you do have a lot of baggage now, like in terms of theory
Yeah,
and harmony and all that stuff. So how did that kind of evolve, like from where you started to where you are
it was
now?
well, look, well, I had a really good ear. Like even
Hmm.
as a beginner player, like I quickly sort of I quickly understood that I was able to discern intervals. Like I was able to use my relative pitch. I don't have perfect pitch, but I have pretty good relative pitch. So I was able to figure out melodies and things like that, and I I understood the emotional aspects of modal playing, even though I didn't know I was playing modes. But if the difference between, like for a start, I listened to a major scale and I said, this sounds happy to me. This
Hmm.
sounds like a happy, joyous sound. And a minor scale sounds sad. So I had those two kind of emotions to work with, major and minor. And then I started to make distinctions about, say, the difference between a major seven and a flat seven, and a major six and a minor six, and what it would do to those scales, and how you put that major six into a minor scale, and it would become the Dorian mode. But I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All I knew was that it took a minor scale and made it somewhat brighter.
Hmm.
So I got the emotional aspect of, like when I interviewed Frank Gambale, he said they shouldn't call them modes, they should call them moods, and he's kind of right,
Yeah.
because they all have a vibe to them, don't they?
Yeah.
There's like I quickly sort of understood that certain players gravitated towards certain sounds, and like it was no sort of accident. I think that, like, Richie Blackmore, who was my first big influence, Richie just loved that Phrygian sound,
Mm-hmm.
and it has a darkness to it, that a drama to it. And I thought, well, yeah, that kind of suits Richie. He's not he doesn't seem like a warm and fuzzy guy, if you know what I mean. So, or he loves drama. Like he doesn't. I don't think he likes playing music that's kind of linear. He likes peaks and valleys,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and yeah, I really understood all that. But like I said, I didn't know what any of this stuff was called,
Hmm.
and I never really found out until I went to Los Angeles and started hanging out with TJ Helmrich.
Right.
And TJ had learned all this stuff. I think he taught a lot of it to himself, but he'd learned it all at GIT,
Hmm.
and he just started to explain it all to me, and then he started showing me other scales, and it just really blew my mind. I went, wow, there's so much more out there that I could have ever imagined. Because I just kind of survived as a pop rock musician with John Farnham, just basically knowing the major and minor modes. That was it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think in a sense, how you learn that stuff is, I think, the better way to approach it. Like you first you have the feeling of the sound, and then you could just put a name on it, like, oh, it's called
Right.
this, instead of the other way around. Like you get a lot of times nowadays, you get the name of, you have this and this, but you don't really have any idea of what it sounds like, what the effect is. If I use this mode, it's different from this mode. Like it's a bit more on the surface, or a bit more abstract if you don't have that
Right.
intimate um yeah, relation to the actual sound, I think.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and I also think that relationship should be very personal.
Hmm.
Like I always say that to people when they're asking me about modes and things like that, and I say, look, you don't have to take my word for it. Just try them out,
Yeah.
and you make your own distinction about whether you like them or not, or b, where you want to use them.
Hmm.
You don't have to accept that the way I feel about them may be completely different to the way you feel about them, and that's totally fine. That's the beauty of art, is that it is what it is to every individual. So